joining Crossroads Community Services to pay a special tribute to our beloved Executive Director, Jay Cole, on the occasion of his retirement. I am Sarah Albert, Board Chair at Crossroads, and a little technical difficulty with my picture today, but I'm with you all in full spirit. On behalf of our Board of Directors, we so appreciate having each and every one of you present to share this opportunity to thank and congratulate Jay on his 20 years of dedicated and innovative service to Crossroads, and more importantly, to our community and to the thousands of lives that Jay has touched during his remarkable tenure. While this current pandemic may have prevented us from celebrating Jay with the real fanfare he has earned, we are delighted for today's gathering of concentric circles of relationship and affection for Jay and for Crossroads. You have all been an important part of Crossroads, whether a client, a volunteer, a board member, part of our Crossroads staff, a dedicated donor, a community partner. You have all been our champions, and we also celebrate today your loyalty and commitment that have sustained us and played such a meaningful role in Jay's and Crossroads' success. It is my special privilege to announce to you that Crossroads Board of Directors decided by acclamation to commemorate Jay's retirement by naming the pantry at our Crossroads facility in Jay's honor. And as of today, our pantry will be known as the Reverend Jay Cole Pantry in honor of his years of leadership and innovative service. I hope that you will take a moment today during today's tribute to send along your own accolades to Jay by using the live Q&A feature that shows up on your screen. All of these messages will be captured and preserved for Jay to enjoy. Today, we are honored to hear from some very special friends and supporters of Crossroads, beginning with Tim Powers, a partner at the law firm of Haynes & Boone and Crossroads' first board chair. Tim will be followed by Tricia Cunningham, President and CEO of North Texas Food Bank. Then we will hear from Camille Grimes, Executive Director and Community Relations Manager at the Dallas Morning News Charities. And lastly, the very dynamic trio from Communities Foundation of Texas, Monica Egert-Smith, Chief Philanthropy Officer, Sarah Cotton Nelson, Monica is the Chief Relationship Officer, Sarah Cotton Nelson, Chief Philanthropy Officer, and Wendy Burton as Senior Director of Community Philanthropy. For 20 years, Crossroads and Jay Cole have been synonymous and synergistic. Hard to know where one started and other left off. From Crossroads' beginnings as a small urban outreach ministry at First United Methodist Church to its relocation to our facility above the Stew Pot downtown, to the development of our hub and spoke pantry distribution system and our invaluable partnership with North Texas Food Bank, and our transformational move to our current home at the Food Bank's former distribution center in Cockrell Hill, Jay has been at the helm, leading always with a servant's heart, but one magnified by creative entrepreneurship, a wicked smart business acumen, and by the innovative use of technology and data to constantly bring improvements that better serve our clients, who always came first in every decision that Jay made. With a heart of gold and a dash of his hallmark irreverent humor, he has built an exemplary organization and one that he can speak to best of all. It is my honor to present to you our beloved and the incomparable Jay Cole.
Thank you very much, Sarah, and thanks for everyone who's attending this. It means a great deal. It really does. And I'll add some color to what Sarah shared and get right to it because y'all know me. What you may not know, when we opened in May of 2020, was that I was an intern, or serving an internship as a seminary student. And I had started a Bible and theological study for homeless folks and gathered about a dozen of those wonderful men and women, primarily men for this occasion. And they literally helped us move over to the building that Sarah just referenced at 1822 Young Street. And that was by invitation of the First Presbyterian Church in the Stew Pot, who not only allowed us to share space in that building, they also provided free for 18 years and truly were wonderful hosts and partners. It was great. Another piece that you wouldn't know from our newsletters and that sort of thing is that we applied to become a Dallas Morning News charity that same year, and I'm smiling understandably. They said, you're too new. Let's see how you're doing if you're still around next year. But if you are, why don't you reapply? And clearly, you know that we did reapply, and we were accepted, and that was great. What you also may not know is Communities Foundation of Texas does the at the time and still helps with the financial scrutiny of organizations, and that made us better. And being a Dallas Morning News charity gave us credibility and much needed publicity and recognition. By 2005, we had distributed 1 million pounds of food, and we were the largest dispenser of rent and utility assistance for the city of Dallas. They also adopted our criteria for success because we were doing quite well with that. It turns out that 84% of the people that we helped a year later still had their utility service or their home, which was wonderful. Sarah mentioned our algorithm that helped people pick food according to the dietary guidelines for Americans. That was going to be the precursor to an application that I'm going to share here in just a few minutes. But one other thing that you may not know is we really promoted providing more pounds of food per person, serve fewer people well, and together, all of us working together means that they are better nourished and have to make fewer trips to get food when they need it. And it was wonderful that the food bank promoted that for us, and many of the agencies embrace that. Sarah mentioned the hub and spoke model. We did that because we wanted to more appropriately address micro pockets of food insecurity and use existing resources in the community, people's labor, their love, and buildings and vehicles without spending money. And by 2009, it was 2 million pounds of food. Another neat thing happened, and that is that it was the opportunity to meet Dr. Tammy Leonard, a behavioral economist. I had changed our algorithm so that it would not only calculate caloric need, it would also calculate missing meals based on the household's income and expenses. It was sophisticated. It took into account the economic value of meals at school, WIC, SNAP, etc. And I gathered researchers and policymakers from Austin, Houston, and Dallas to explore the feasibility of that, and could never get any traction with Texas Department of Health. That's another story. But again, the neat part is met Tammy. That was in 2009. In 2010, the food bank did take an interest in our distribution model, where of these organizations that wanted to nourish people without being full-fledged North Texas food bank agencies. And they said, Jay, we want y'all to be a pilot hub for this, and start charging handling fees just like we do. And not surprisingly, the 60 partners that we had, the majority of them dropped out after a few months. So we systematically rebuilt it. Now, 2012, or actually one more thing in 2011, Dr. Leonard, Tammy Leonard, introduced us to Dr. Sandy Pruitt at UT Southwestern, and they created CARE, Community Assistance Research, our research partners, formal research partners. And that was also going to yield wonderful dividends in the future. Communities Foundation of Texas, they had an institute, the Data-Driven Decision-Making Institute. We were fortunate enough to be selected. It was a 9-month course, and we were already data mindful, but they made us so much better in that area. So of all the things that I've mentioned, the biggest milestone was 2015. That truly was a pivotal year for Crossroads. We rebuilt our network of spokes, and I am going to move my computer because the power is about to run out. So, there we go. And now you have the luxury of looking at me as, just think of me as your thumb with glasses. Okay, so I hope you can still hear me. 2015, we did rebuild our network, 80 distribution partners now, and 2.7 million pounds of food were distributed. To put that number in perspective, that was 5% of the 5.4 million that the food bank distributed that year. And we had every household in the same database. So because we had 15,000 unique individuals in the database that we could identify, we were offered the opportunity with a few other CBOs to participate in Parkland Center for Clinical Innovation assessment to see if sharing data, patient data, we could reduce Parkland's cost. And it worked. They measured it over a 90-day period and saved $130,000. So we were out of space, as Sarah just mentioned, and fortunately, wonderfully, the North Texas Food Bank invited us to carry on their legacy of service in the southern sector of Dallas by moving our operations to 4500 South Cockrell Hill. And it was humbling. We were thrilled, and thank you. It was just fantastic. So thanks to our research partners, Dr. Pruitt and Leonard, our dedication to providing evidence-based programming, the D3 training, the pilot with Parkland, in 2018, we received 2 milestone grants. They were truly game changers for us. And one was the $500,000 multi-year grant provided by Communities Foundation of Texas to conduct a randomized control study, which is the gold standard for measuring impact, true impact. And our hypothesis was, were we going to be able to better coordinate, help clients better coordinate their SNAP benefits, WIC benefits with pantry assistance, timing of when they get those benefits, so that they would have more consistent consumption of food throughout the month and lead to better food security and therefore health outcomes. The North Texas Food Bank and Sharing Life, we invited both of them to join us, and having the food bank's on-site SNAP office was invaluable. It was wonderful. Then we also received another national grant where we were the lead, and that grant was with UT Southwestern, Parkland, and Dallas County Health and Human Services, as well as the University of Dallas because of Dr. Leonard. And the goal was to create a sustainable referral system where we could co-locate services. So in the interest of time, there are links to the SNAP AC and Build on our website, and I invite you to go visit those to really understand more about those wonderful and exciting opportunities for us to enhance lives once again. Finally, as far as programs and being well positioned, we're working with Salesforce to create the Crossroads remote order and calendaring app so that our clients who negotiate the web 80% of the time with their cell phone can remotely order groceries from our live pantry inventory. They can update their client information, complete social, emotional, health, and financial wellness surveys, respond to research questions, schedule and reschedule when life happens their appointments, and receive text reminders of the date and time of their appointments. So it's been wonderful. That's the nuts and bolts of it. I hope I've demonstrated that Crossroads is very well positioned, and thanks to those of you who are our donors, we are in incredibly strong position financially. To our volunteers, as Sarah said, we wouldn't be here without you. We wouldn't be here without a can-do staff. And again, because of this wonderful space that we're in, there's so much extra room. Now we have the opportunity to invite other organizations to co-locate where we can really provide even more synergy for client services. And that's who we're going to invite. So the future is remarkably bright. It's a future that should be very good. I want to simply say thank you and turn it over to Tim. I may say a word more at the end of it.
Well, thank you, Jay. It's a real honor for me to be here to honor you today. And my sincere congratulations on reaching the finish line. It's been amazing, and it's been a privilege and honor to watch with admiration all that you've accomplished with CCS. Your compassion for those in need is unparalleled. Your vision, innovation, incredible hard work, and dedication to what CCS could become has truly been an inspiration for all of us. You're leaving a wonderful legacy for CCS and for all of those that it has served. As you take account of all of your achievements, I hope that you'll look at them with great pride and a great sense of accomplishment. We're all very, very proud of what you've accomplished, both personally and professionally, for CCS and for First Church. You've impacted so many lives in so many ways that you will never know. And throughout this, your humility has been unsurpassed. Thank you for allowing both Joni and me to be a small part of what is CCS, and it's been a true honor for me to be your colleague and, more importantly, to be your friend. You have answered your ministry call well, and you have finished strongly. Well done, good and faithful servant. And with that, allow me to turn it over to Tricia Cunningham. Tricia?
Thanks so much, Tim. Thank you so much. And Jay, you're going to be a tough act to follow, but I know that you're doing everything that you can. You just have always had a heart for service, but you've just been a hunger fighter for so long. And even before I came to the food bank, I knew of you. And this was down at your location downtown. And I can remember going there for a Leadership Dallas event. And what were you doing outside? You were talking to everybody that was sitting outside. They were so important. You were asking how they were, what do they need? Before you even went into the building with your beret on, which I'm so happy Camille has her beret on today. But you've gone from providing access to about 33,000 pounds that first year you started serving to now, millions of pounds of food. And especially, I do think everything happens for a reason. And so thank you for being open, and thank you for moving into that facility in South Dallas, because it has been a win-win-win. I think it was a win for Crossroads. You now have the expanded facilities to be able to operate from. It was a win for us because we wanted to make sure that building could continue to be serving the South Dallas community. And it was a win for the community because now they have an on-site pantry there in an area that needed it. And so you've been able to continue to innovate and grow. And I think that's one of the things I've always admired about you, is that you are an innovator. You see a problem and you want to be able to solve that, and you want to be able to put the muscle behind that to be able to do it. So, we were thrilled last year to be able to honor you with the North Texas Food Bank with the Jan Pruitt Legacy Award because of your commitment to hunger fighting and the impact that you've had on the community. But don't just take my word for it. We have several in the audience from the North Texas Food Bank, and I asked them for a few words of how they would describe you. And they said, genuine, a people person. You're always the same to everyone on the team, and it doesn't matter who they are. Every person is valuable to you. Timely. Erin said she remembered one time that whenever they first moved to the Dallas Farmers Market, that you were going to be there to meet, and literally you were running because you were running late past her as trying to make sure that you didn't impose on anyone else because of that. You're always looking for the best holistic solution. Even if it's not optimal for you, you always were keeping that client at the center and what's the best thing for them, and truly focusing on their health and the well-being. You talked a little bit about the nutrition program and education and making sure people had enough food. You're an optimistic technology pioneer. If you felt like there was a way you could use technology to try to make an experience better, you did it. A gracious, committed servant to the community, an outstanding teacher, a partner, a coach, a collaborator, and most importantly, the word that came up most of all was friend. So thank you for being a friend to the North Texas Food Bank. And on behalf of all of us and your entire Feeding Network colleagues who are out there trying to fight hunger across all the counties that we serve in, thank you for making North Texas a better place for all of us, and especially our neighbors in need. We do wish you the very best in the next season of your journey, and I personally can't wait until we can toast and celebrate you properly. So now I'm going to turn it over to Camille Grimes from the Dallas Morning News Charities.
Thank you, Tricia. Hello, Jay. Hello, everyone. I'm Camille Grimes, the Executive Director of the Dallas Morning News Charities, and this is such a joy to get to be a part of Jay's celebration today. Just as we've heard from Tim and Sarah and Tricia, we know about the legacy that Jay is going to leave behind at Crossroads. He is the consummate servant leader, full of compassion. And aren't we all so grateful that he listened to the Lord and he accepted the call to go and serve our community? It is not an easy job, daily seeing the faces of people in great need. But Jay answered that call. And thankfully, he also has an incredibly supportive team behind him at Crossroads. But there's also a backstory to Jay's success at Crossroads. And all roads lead to Joan, his wife of 26 years. For those of you who are not familiar with their love story and how they met, I'm just going to briefly tell you about it. Back in November of 1993, Joan was sitting with a group of girlfriends at a local pub, and the Dallas Observer happened to be there with a table set up, and they were giving away free personal ads. For those of us who are familiar, way before dating apps existed, this is a way that people could connect that were like-minded through a personal ad. So Joan's girlfriends each wrote each other's personal ad, and Jay, Joan's ad caught his attention, and he reached out to her, and once they were able to connect, they fast became friends. They connected on a very deep level, and honestly, within 6 months of their meeting, they were married. Incredible. And as Joan says it, married to my best friend. So what does Jay plan to do in retirement? Well, Joan and Jay do plan to do some traveling, and Joan does have a small honey-do list, but Jay does intend to get reacquainted with his not one, but 2 bass guitars he has. He's going to hook them up to his amplifier. He's going to jam out and probably rock that building that they live in to its ground, which I think is amazing. He also plans to read some books, probably while sipping some amazing wine he discovered way before it now retails for some astronomical amount. And he'll probably listen to one of his 1,200 or so LPs that he has in his amazing album collection, and he'll listen to it on his mighty fine hi-fi that he has. Well, Jay, all of this sounds like a great plan. Jay and Joan both, I just want to thank you for your great support to Crossroads, for your incredible support to this community, and also for your commitment and support to each other. I love you both. It's been such an honor to work with you, Jay, and it's been such a delight to get to know Joan. Next up is the incredible, as Sarah said, trio at the Communities Foundation, Monica, Sarah, and Wendy.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Monica Eggert-Smith. I'm the Chief Relationship Officer at Communities Foundation of Texas. And since we're running a little bit short on time, I think I get to speak for my colleagues, Sarah and Wendy, as well. You know, there's a very famous quote that Maya Angelou said, that people will forget what you said, they'll forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And as we honor Jay today, I think it's interesting that he talked a lot about what he did, but we've all been talking about how he's made us feel over the years, using his warmth and compassion to make people feel valued, accepted, and loved, whether that's a client coming for food or a major donor. As you've heard, he's passionate and compassionate, accessible and non-judgmental, and a minister through and through who glorifies God by serving and setting an example for others. Jay definitely walks the talk, and he's not interested in taking credit for any of the extraordinary things that he's done. He has remarkable humility. He just wants to help people. Personally, I will miss Jay's regular calls, which typically would start with, "Hey kiddo, have you got a minute? I've got something I want to run by you," which usually meant he was looking for another development director. But Jay, I know there are many more fun evenings of conversation and fabulous wines to be enjoyed with you and Joan in my future, Sarah's, as well as Wendy's. Crossroads will miss you, the local nonprofit sector will miss you, but as Tim said, you have been a good and faithful servant, and you have prepared Crossroads and all who are part of this organization to carry the torch from here, continuing to do the Lord's work each and every day. We love you on behalf of all of us at Communities Foundation of Texas and wish you the very, very best in your retirement. And with that, I think Sarah Albert's going to close us out, unless Jay, you want to make a few more comments.
Jay, you're on mute. It just had to be said.
Hello, thank you. Now it's live. Thank you, thank you. Apologize for that. No, it felt great. Thanks to each of you. Tim, our first board chair. Yes, it was. I feel very strongly believe that it was my way to answer my call to ministry. Camille, I'm so glad you said Joan, because I wanted to make sure and say that whatever the accomplishments, she was my wing woman, my shero, did what it took around here so that I could do my best to put Crossroads first, which does mean hopefully the community. I do appreciate the accolades. I know my shortcomings, and it's been good, and it'll be good in retirement, and Benet will take it to the next level. And thanks to each of you. This meant a lot, and I love you. I appreciate you, and let's all take it seriously to go make the world a better place. I probably left something out, and if I did, I did. So thank you so much.
And I think Sarah had sent a note asking you to just close us out, Jay. So I think you just did that.
Yes, thank you. So yeah, now that I would, you know how they say go in peace at church. I just said it, but I'll say it again. Go do something righteous and good work. Let's make this world a better place. So I will sign off, and thanks to each of the presenters. Thanks to everyone. Bye-bye.